Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ada from Thailand market. Today, I would like to introduce a kind of reliable construction technology. The name is wet application. There are four parts in my presentation. They are the foundation of wet application, the introduction of wet application, pave waterproof membrane with wet application, and some international waterproofing projects with wet application. At first, let me introduce the foundation of wet application. Let's look at the traditional roof structure. From the lower to the upper, the structures are structure layer, screed coat, vapor barrier, insulation layer, screed coat, waterproofing layer, and the protection layer. Technically, the waterproofing layer can protect the structure layer very well, but actually there are many factors to cause damage to the waterproofing layer, especially the cross-construction of the different processes. When it rains, the water goes into the different layers through the damaged points. Then it becomes the water migration. When it meets the structure crack, the leakage happens. We can grout to repel it, but the water can migrate to other structure cracks. The leakage happens again. So it seems that we can never stop the leakage. We call this waterproofing system as raincoat type waterproofing. From the analysis, we can see that there are three conditions for leakage. The first one is there are damaged points in the waterproofing. The second is there are cracks in the structure. And the last one is there is water migration. In actual construction processes, we can't completely eliminate the damaged points and the structure cracks. If we can eliminate water migration, so the leakage can be stopped. Though we create a new kind of waterproofing concept, skin type waterproofing concept. This is the structure diagram for skin type waterproofing. The waterproofing bonds with the structure layer directly. There is no other layer between them. It can realize the full adhesion with appropriate bonding material. Then there is no chance to water migration. There are damaged points in the waterproofing. When it rains, the water goes in. But as there is no other layers between the waterproofing and the substrate, the water will limit it in the damaged points. We suppose there are structure cracks. There is little chance for leakage only when the structure cracks are in the same places of the damaged points. It is easy to be repaired with grouting. We can see that this waterproofing concept is much reliable than the raincoat type waterproofing. There are many features of skin type waterproofing. The waterproofing bonds with structure layer directly. It can realize the full adhesion with the substrate. The waterproofing layer can protect the structure like skin. And the last one is it is easy to be repaired. Wet application can realize the skin type waterproofing system. Let me introduce it to you. As mentioned before, wet application is a kind of construction technology. It uses cement slurry, cement mortar, or specific mortar to bond with the concrete base. It was created by Joaboa Tech in 2004. From then on, it has achieved great success and been widely used. It can bond waterproofing membrane on the substrate, and it can realize the skin type waterproofing concept. From the structural diagram for wet application, we can see that the substrate is not even at the micro level. As the similar slurry has fluidity, it can fill the interspaces between the substrate and the membrane, so it can eliminate the water migration between the membrane and the substrate effectively. There are many advantages for wet application. The first one is saving cost. There is no need of squeeze coat, so it can save money. The second is shortened construction period. Wet application can be applied on a moisture substrate, so the construction period can be shortened greatly, especially in rain season. The third is safety. Wet application can be applied without fire to avoid fire hazard. The last one is eco-friendly. The bonding material, similar slurry, is friendly to the environment. The requirement of wet application has low requirement of the substrate. About the cleanness, clean, low scent, low dust, low garbage is okay, and the substrate should be solid with low hollowing and sanding. Basically even is okay for wet application. We can check with a 2-meter ruler. The gap between the ruler is less than 5 mm and the amount should be less than 1 per meter. Wet application has highly adaptable for the moisture content of the substrate. It can be applied on the wet substrate, and if it is too dry, wet it in advance. After rain, sweep off the obvious water. About the pavement order, there are some rules should be followed. The previous construction shouldn't affect the subsequent one, and the whole construction order should be highly efficiency. It should be done from far to near, and first the details, then the large area. If the application is about the plane and the elevation, the elevation should be done first, then the plane, and the color should be applied before the large area of elevation too. Then someone may be interested with the cement slurry. The rate ratio is different according to the application part. For plane, the weight ratio of cement water is not less than 0.45, but for the elevation, the weight ratio we can add some glue powder, and the weight ratio of cement, water, glue powder is 1.4 and 4 per 1,000. Stir the mixture with molten stirrer until low passes, and it should be used within 1 hour. We have talked some about the wet application. Then, how many steps to pave waterproof membrane? Let's take a look together. Wet application can be bound with the polymer film base or reinforced polyester base, both of single-side self-adhesive and a double-side self-adhesive waterproof membrane. It can be applied for the waterproofing engineering of basement, roof, and swimming pool. It can bond Joaboa BAC-P, CLF, and PET self-adhesive waterproof membrane. Now the steps. Clean the substrate with broom or air blower. Wet the substrate. If the substrate is too dry, it will absorb the water in the cement slurry to cause losing water too fast. Then it will lead bulge. Coat the cement slurry. Stir the cement slurry evenly. As mentioned before, weight ratio of water to cement slurry is not less than 0.45. Then coat the cement slurry on the substrate. The thickness is about 2 to 3 millimeter, and it depends on the situation of the substrate. Then press and flatten it. Pave the membrane. Remove the lower isolation film of the membrane, then bond it on the coated substrate with the cement slurry. Exhaust the air between membrane and the substrate with wooden float or paper core. Then the overlap. Remove the isolation film both of the lap joints. Pay attention to the removing order. First, the lower isolation film of the upper membrane, then the upper isolation film of the lower membrane. Exhaust the air with a small roller or paper core. The width of overlap is 8 cm. Wet application is also reliable for side wall. Coat the cement slurry on the wall, on the membrane, or both of them. Pave the membrane on the wall. Exhaust the air with wooden float or paper core. This is the finished work. It is very beautiful. Now, wet application is very popular in China. At the spread of the construction technology, there are many international waterproofing projects with wet application. Actually, wet application is very suitable for Southeast Asia. We can analyze from the two elements. First is the climate. As we know, in most Southeast Asia countries, the rain season can last over 6 months, and the rain is always heavy and long-lasting time. In such conditions, some traditional waterproofing methods, such as the torch-on method, can hardly be done. Wet application can be applied on a wet substrate, so it can shorten the construction period greatly. Second is the construction material is high in Southeast Asia, and some projects are in poor condition of the substrate.